Hello, it's Friday afternoon, around about 3 o'clock. I've just popped down after work, and today I'm going to see if I can get the shed tidied out, the old shed that I'm going to be taking down, and hopefully I can get that taken down this weekend. I've got all day Saturday and all day Sunday, so I should be able to get it done. So I've just made a bit of a start on tidying it out. There's some useful stuff in there that I'm going to keep, and a lot of junk that I'm going to have to throw in. Unfortunately, the guy that built it didn't use a lot of screws. It's all nailed together, so it's going to be tough going. So I'm going to take out what screws I can and keep those for other projects. So we'll have a look at what I've got up to so far. So this is a little pile of useful things that I've got, and there's also a cold frame that I'm going to be keeping. I've got to decide where to put that yet, but for now it can just stay there out of the way. I'll put down a little bit of weed membrane over here to cover it and stop any weeds coming through, although I doubt you're going to get many because it hasn't rained for at least 6 weeks. A few more bits and bobs here that might come in handy, and then a pile of stuff that's to be thrown away. We'll take that to the skip tomorrow. So let's have a little bit of a look inside the shed. It's a lot better now I've cleared it out and can actually get through the door. But as you can see, there's massive nails just sticking out all over the place. That's why I'm going to take my time and do it carefully. I'll save these hooks and the saws and whatever I can. Not sure about moving that mirror, that's going to end up getting smashed at some point. There's loads of screws that I'm going to harvest, so that's going to be the next job. Take the screws out. That might make a decent sieve, so I'll save that. And then all that's holding the shed up are these bolts here. So there's 8 of those bolts now. I think it'll probably just take itself down if I'm lucky. So the first job would be to take the roof off, and then we'll go from there, because I need to start clearing this area, but I can't clear it because I'm using that to store all the junk that's coming out of the shed. So the quicker I get the shed down, the quicker I can carry on. Made a little bit of a start. What I'm going to do is I've strengthened up the structure so it's not going to collapse on me, and I'm just going to take all the wooden paneling from outside. I'm going to take the roof off, and I can take the main frame down. It's a shame really, because it could be done up to be a nice little shed for someone, but I've offered it on the allotment Facebook group and nobody wants it, so I'm just going to take it down. I'm going to use as many of these slats as I can to make a workbench to go into the new shed, so I'm not going to waste everything. And I may keep some of the straighter, less rotted uprights, because I want to put a fruit cage here because I've got some blueberries and gooseberries that I want to get in, so that make a nice little fruit area. I was thinking of just leaving the frame up and cladding it, but it's got so many screws in it, I don't think it'd be worth it really. I could just build a new one. Yeah, I'm just going to carry on taking down the wooden panelling, store it all inside so it's not making a mess for everyone, sort out the good bits, and tomorrow morning I've got a pile of stuff that I can take to the skip. There we go, that's that shed gone. Just got to tidy up a little bit now. That's the shed gone now. I've just got to try and get those huge sleepers out, but they're well and truly buried in there. I've got some nice wood that I can use to make some edges for the beds, and I've put everything that I've taken down in a nice pile. It's a bit late now for going to the skip, so I'll do that first thing in the morning. That's the old shed, completely gone. All the rubbish has been taken to the skip. I've just started to tidy it out. There's a couple of decent railway sleepers. I'm going to use those as edges for the plot, and then there's some mahogany floorboards there that I'm going to use as a floor in the new shed. So it's looking a little bit tidier. Still a lot of work to do. Got these water barrels, got to get those shifted, but they're both full, so I'll just harvest the water out of them, use it to feed the flower bed, water the flower bed, sorry. Might take that tree down, and then over autumn we can just have a really good tidy up and get it ready for next year. Over on the other plot, the potatoes that I've sowed in buckets are all starting to die off now, probably about a month early, but they're not going to get any more growth, so I'm just going to harvest a couple of buckets of those and see what we get out. And I've got some French beans and a few tomatoes to take home with me, so we'll have a little bit of a harvest session for the next hour and see what we can get. So these are a main crop variety called Harmony, and they were sown on the 3rd of May, and they're not really due to come out till September, but they've just completely died off. The only thing that's still alive is a volunteer tomato. I've been watering them pretty much every day, so the soil's still moist, so there might be some decent potatoes in there. A lot of the other plot holders there that have grown them in the ground have really struggled, and the harvests haven't been really what they should be. So I'm hoping we get a few in there. Any that we do get I shall be happy with. So we'll have a quick rifle through the barrel and see what we get. Oh, considering the weather that we've had, I think that's a pretty good return. 3 seed potatoes in and that many out, so I'm quite happy with that. So we're going to set them to one side and we're going to get another bucket and see what we can get out of that one. The next bucket is a variety called Twister, which are a main crop, and again these were sown on the 3rd of the 5th, so it's a little bit early, but they've died off again. I can see 1 or 2 poking out of the top that have gone a bit green, so I'll throw them away. So I'll just take the top foliage off and see what we get. This is looking more promising. It's just a green one, you can't eat those. Could save them for seed possibly. A couple there already. First potato harvest of the year. On the left we've got a bucket of Harmony, and on the right a bucket of Twister. The Twister, the yields a lot more. I'm feeling with both of them, if the weather had been a little bit better, had a little bit more rain or any rain, then there would have been a lot larger tubers, but I'm quite happy with those. I've just been across to have a look, and the rest of the buckets are still green leaves growing, so I'm going to leave them for a couple of weeks. So we'll just pop over now and get some French beans. I've already had 2 pickings off these, and the plants are starting to die off now, so I think I'm just going to cut them off at the stem and harvest what I can, and any that have gone a little bit too far I'll just save them for seed for next year. So I'll just get my secateurs, we can get them cut down, and then we'll find somewhere in the shade to strip the plants down and see what sort of yield we get from these. It's not a massive crop of French beans, but there's enough there for 2 or 3 meals. Any that I don't use, I can freeze and have them later on in the year. And the ones that have gone a little bit too far, I've just hung them in the pongy tunnel to dry out, and I can use the seed for next year. These are the ones that fell off as I was stripping them. And another couple of bunches there. And also my grapes aren't far off being ready. Every time I come down, I'll try 1 or 2 just to see if they're sweet enough, and they're not far away now. So it's a good year for grapes. Tomatoes are perking up after the spider mite invasion. Peppers aren't looking too bad. I've got some more spray. I'm going to do that this evening. It's far too warm at the moment, but they're looking a lot greener than they were earlier on in the week. So hopefully I've managed to save them. And also, I don't think I've showed you, but I had some what I thought were volunteer cucumbers. It turns out they're melons. So I've got a little bed full of melons, probably about 6 or 7, maybe a few more in there. They seem to be enjoying it. And we're just going to have a look at the watermelons. For the past 2 or 3 years, I've been trying to grow watermelons in the pongy tunnel and greenhouse, and they've never worked. So this year I just thought I'd put them outside. They had the covers over them earlier on in the season, but I think all this warm weather, I've really enjoyed it, and I've got 3 good sized watermelon that have developed. So I'm hoping that I can get them through and we'll have some homegrown watermelon. They're nowhere near ripe yet, probably a good couple of weeks off. But I'm quite happy with that, considering I've struggled for so long. So these weather conditions seem to be suiting some things and not others. And as the season's going on, things are starting to finish. So I have to start thinking about putting some green manure in. But there's no point at the moment. It's so dry that the seeds are just not going to germinate. So when we have a little bit of rain, I should get some seeds in. And I'll probably have 4 beds that I can put for green manure, cut it off in spring, mix it in with the soil, and we should be ready. So that's all I've got time for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again next week.